We are in ninth, and we're reading about the squire in the Canterbury Tale.
He had a son with him, a fine young squire, a lover and cated, a lad of fire, with locks as curly as they had been pressed. He was some 20 years of age, I guess. In stature he was of modern length, with wonderful agility and strength. He had seen some service with the cavalry in Flanders and of Perthus and Picardy, and had done
Villainy.
okay.
I'm sorry, that's not what it says.
Valiantly,
Valiantly,
little
yeah.
space of time, and hoped to win his lady's grace. He was embroidered like a meadow bright, and full of freshest flowers red and white. Singing he was, or fluting all day. He was as fresh as in the month of May. Short was his gown, the sleeves were long and wide. He knew the way to sit a horse and ride. He could make songs and poems and recite, knew how to joist and dance, to draw and write. He loved so haughtily that till dawn grew pale, he slept as little as a nightingale. Courteous he was, lowly and serviceable, and carved to serve his father at the table.
So let's look at the squire. And I've asked you 3 questions. Who is he? Describe him. How is he typical youth of any era? So what can you say about the squire? Yes, sir.
Wasn't he, like, it says he was, wait, I want to find it, wonderful agility and strength. In stature, he was of moderate length. He was 20 years of age. Curly hair, lover of cadet. Let's see. He had a young squire with him.
Yeah, that is he is the squire of his father and the son.
I see. Oh, he had his son with him, a fine young squire, and then it's describing the squire.
All right, so that's who he is. What is he wearing?
Bright colors.
Yeah. What was his father wearing?
Dark clothes.
Right. So this guy's dressed, right, bright and all this sort of thing. What interests me is what he can do. And this is probably where we'll end, but look at what he can do.
Oh,
yeah.
He plays the flute.
What else?
Let's see. He was fresh as the month of May. Let's see. He knew the way to sit a horse and ride. He could make songs and poems and recite. He knew how to joust and dance, to draw and write. So he was like, I mean, he was really knowledgeable and educated, as well as like just knowledgeable as far as like skills, you know?
Right, I would just ask you to use this word to describe it. I think we might be able to describe him as a Renaissance man.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
And you know what a Renaissance man would do? He has lots of skills, lots of experiences. I think I've mentioned this before when I was at Page. The athletes were over here. You stay in your little group. The drama people are over here. Stay in your little group. Choir people are over here. Stay in your little group. I mean, 1,500 plus students. It's easier to do that. I don't know that I ever saw an athlete in a drama. Rarely did we see an athlete in the choir. Not this guy. This is the guy, and that's what I love about Caldwell. We're small enough, and I know there's certain rules, like if you're playing fall soccer, you can't be in the fall play, but you can be in the spring play. And what I like about us is that you have athletes in the choir, you have athletes in the band, you have athletes, in the plays. I like that. I'm not so big into this specialization. I know some of you who are athletes, we've talked about this. You play baseball in the summer, you play baseball in the fall, you play baseball in the winter, you play baseball in the spring. You never get to play basketball on a team. You never get to play, and not that that's the case with you, but that's a lot of what happens. When we were playing, like I played football in the fall, our coach wanted us to play competitively another sport, not just work out all year. Because a lot of guys work out, they're big and bulky, but they don't know how to compete. And so he liked us to get in there, even when we weren't the best basketball player, try out for the basketball team. I never did that, but I did run in the spring. And, he liked to keep that competitive fire going using, in different sports. And it wasn't so much this emphasis that you're getting, I'm sure, to just specialize. You got to do this. You're going to be, what's the end goal? I'm not sure what the end goal there is. Not to discourage you, but very few people play Division I sports from high school. what even smaller number play professional sports. It seems like it would be smart to spread it out, you know? I mean, you spread your talents out and do as much as possible. That's your decision. But this guy could do it all. He could write, he could draw, he could dance. I just think that's pretty cool. What is it about him that makes him, he could come into Caldwell if he was a real person and fit right in. If you go over to Page and fit right in. What is it about him that makes him universal?
He was young.
Yes. Anything else?
He's like kind of like you said, well-rounded, so like he gets along with everyone.
Right. And did you notice he's 20? He's not a teenager, but he considered him a ladies' man. He considered himself, you know, he liked the ladies. So I guess some of them liked him. You know, it just seemed like he dressed differently from his father. You know, he didn't like copy his father. This just seemed like, that's why we said that the prologue is so great, because it shows you people. If you met this guy, I mean, this guy would fit in perfectly at Caldwell if he was a real person. You know, he would fit into every group. So I particularly like this guy. Let me define the next one, and we got to go. All right, so the next one, this would be question number 7, is a yeoman. Y-E-O-M-A-N. It's question number 7. What is a yeoman? I'm going to give you a definition of a yeoman. A yeoman is a rank, social rank, or it's also a job, but
Yeah, I feel like we learned about that at some point.
Yeah.
Was it called a yeoman, or was that different?
I've never heard of that pronunciation. Usually, you know, we Americanize these British words. We usually say yeoman. But it's one who owns a small farm. One who owns a small farm. If you were a yeoman, that's the class. Remember, England is a class society. Still is to some degree. Ever watched Downton Abbey?
Oh.
You know, you're in a class and you just don't go out of this class. Anyway, but there's another definition. And the other definition is anyone who performs a noble service. They say that the men, the soldiers who won the battle of for the English, the Battle of Agincourt, were the yeomen of England. Those were and they performed a noble service. If you're somebody that this person always shows up, they're always helping, they did a yeoman's job. Have you ever heard that? A yeoman's job is the one who performs a noble service, doesn't do it to get a lot of attention, doesn't do it to get, get praise for it. He just helps. That would be a compliment. So we will see you tomorrow. Oh, Tuesday. Add 4 lines to that. So between now and Tuesday, work on the next 4 lines, so we'll put 8 lines together on Tuesday. Remember Friday? What are you doing for Friday? Peace trial.
Yeah.
Cannibals, murder,
It's crazy. It's wild.
betrayal. Yeah.